हेलो फ्रेंड्स, आज हम डिस्कस करेंगे नेचर बेस्ड सॉल्यूशंस एनबीएस ऑफ वेस्ट वाटर ट्रीटमेंट। सो द नेचर बेस्ड सॉल्यूशन एनबीएस, in short they known as NBS. So the nature based solutions are defined by the IUCN. IUCN means International Union for Conservation of Nature. It was established in 1948 and the headquarters of IUCN in the Glen, Switzerland. Okay. So the IUCN defined the NBS as a action to protect, sustainably manage, and restore natural or modified ecosystem that address societal challenges effectively and adaptively, simultaneously providing human well-being and biodiversity benefits. So this is the definition of the nature-based solutions defined by the IUCN. The NBS system is also defined by the European Commission in 2015 as the living solution inspired by, continuously supported by, using nature, which are designed to address various societal challenges in resource efficient and adaptable manner and to provide simultaneously economic, social and environmental benefits including wastewater management with low input and chemicals. So the nature-based solution require low energy and no chemicals for the wastewater treatment. So NBS are technique that mimic the natural process. मीन्स जो NBS सिस्टम होते हैं जो नेचुरल प्रोसेस की कॉपी करते हैं उन्हीं के प्रिंसिपल पे बेस्ड होते हैं. इन अर्बन लैंडस्केप use the plants, they use plants, soil, bacteria and other natural elements and processes that remove the pollutant from wastewater. This process means the natural based solutions reduces the use of chemicals and save energy. There are many types of the nature based solutions. The first one is the constructed wetlands. Second one is the floating wetlands. Third one is the green roof. Fourth one is the living walls. Fifth one is the waste stabilization pond. Sixth one is the high rate algal ponds. And seventh one is the vermi filtration system. So these are the different type of the nature based systems or solutions. So the first one is the constructed wetlands. The constructed wetlands is also known as reed beds, artificial wetlands, planted soil filters and vegetated submerged beds. So first one is the reed bed. So what do you mean by reed? So reed are the tall grass-like plants. Tall grass-like plants of wetlands. सो वेटलैंड में जो ग्रास के जैसे बड़े बड़े प्लांट्स होते हैं उन्हीं को रीड कहते हैं. ओके. सो द कंस्ट्रक्टेड वेटलैंड्स आर द फर्स्ट नेचर बेस्ड सॉल्यूशन यूज फॉर द वेस्ट वाटर ट्रीटमेंट. ओके. सो दिस इज अ वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट पॉइंट. कंस्ट्रक्टेड वेटलैंड्स आर द फर्स्ट नेचर बेस्ड सॉल्यूशन फॉर द use for the wastewater treatment. The constructed wetland are artificially engineered system. Okay, they are man-made, designed but constructed to utilize the natural process. They are the man-made, but they use the natural process to remove the pollutant from the wastewater or contaminated water. The constructed wetland system contains the water, plants, growing media, or we can say substrate, soil, and microorganisms. So these are the things are using in the constructed wetlands. Soil, microorganism, growing media, plants and water. Now how they are built. So the constructed wetlands are generally built on uplands, means हाइट पे बनाए जाते हैं थोड़े, एंड आउटसाइड फ्लडप्लेन्स और फ्लडवेज. सो जो भी फ्लड का रास्ता होता है और जहाँ पॉसिबिलिटी होती है किसी एरिया में फ्लड के आने की, तो उस एरिया से आउटसाइड में बनाया जाता है टू अवॉइड द डैमेज टू द नेचुरल वेटलैंड एंड अदर एक्वेटिक रिसोर्सेज. So wetland are frequently constructed by the excavating, backfilling, grading, diking, and installing the water control structure to establish the desired hydraulic flow pattern. So wetland का formation कैसे किया जाता है? जो water flow को control किया जाता है excavating के द्वारा, backfilling के द्वारा, grading के द्वारा, diking means दीवार बना के फ्लो को कंट्रोल किया जाता है, इंस्टॉलेशन ऑफ वाटर कंट्रोल अदर स्ट्रक्चर को इंस्टॉल करके एक डिजायर्ड हाइड्रोलिक फ्लो को फिक्स किया जाता है वेटलैंड में वेस्ट वाटर के फ्लो के लिए. इफ द साइट इज हाईली परमिएबल सोइल, व्हेन द सोइल इज हाईली परमिएबल, द इम्परवियस और कॉम्पैक्ट क्ले लाइनर इज यूजुअली इंस्टॉल्ड. अगर सोइल बहुत ही ज्यादा परमिएबल है तो बेस में एक क्ले लाइन और एक कॉम्पैक्ट सरफेस बनाया जाता है ताकि परकोलेशन प्रॉब्लम ना हो. द वेटलैंड वेजिटेशन इज देन planted or allowed to establish naturally. So this is a diagram. Here you can see this is a pond like structure that is filled by the a media that may be the clay or sand or gravel, and these are the natural vegetation that grow on this media. So the water is flow from one side, this water is treated by the roots and microbial activity, and finally from the bottom the treated water come out. Okay, so this is the structure. Here you can see this is the inflow of the water and this is your right hand side, this is the outflow of the water. So by the activity of the roots and other microorganisms, they degrade the aerobic organic matter of the water or other contaminants by absorbing by the help of the plant roots and by the activity of microorganism. Finally, the treated water come out from the bottom. So the wetland are plants are the herbaceous plant having the rapid growth, high biomass and strong absorptive abilities. So these are the characteristics for the plants that are used in the wetlands, constructed wetlands. Okay, so the constructed wetlands can be classified according to their capacity to adapt to the life in water. So the plants may be emergent type, submerged type and floating macrophytes are used for the constructed wetlands. So here in this diagram you can see the plants that grow near the at the corner or edges of the water bodies, they known the emergent plants. The plants, floating plants that flow on the water surface and their root are hanging in the water, and the submerged plant that their root are in the bottom of water surface and their upper part is submerged in the water structure, okay, or in the water structure. They are completely in the water. So in the constructed wetlands, mainly the rooted emergent macrophytes are used. Mainly the emergent category of plants mainly used for the constructed wetlands. So the example of plants are the cottage typha, reed phragmites, the bulrus, the Serpus species, the sage, carex species, and several broadleaf species are used for the constructed wetlands. Now the constructed wetlands are categorized into two categories based on the water flow. Okay, the first one is the free water surface, and second one is the subsurface flow. In free surface free water surface, the water slowly flow above the substrate medium and creating the free water surface. Okay, a water column depth of few centimeter. तो इनमें क्या होता है कि सरफेस के ऊपर भी वाटर का फ्लो होता है. इन सब सरफेस फ्लो कंस्ट्रक्टेड वेटलैंड द वाटर फ्लो इनसाइड द पोरस सबस्ट्रेट. इसमें क्या होता है, वाटर मीडिया के अंदर फ्लो करता है. सो द बेस्ड ऑन द flow direction, based on the flow direction, the subsurface flow system are further classified: the horizontal flow and vertical flow. So here you can see the first one is the vertical flow, means that from water is flow from upside to top to bottom, and second one is the horizontal, from one side to water, the entry water enter from one side and the in from one side and goes out from another side. So this is a horizontal, the water movement in the horizontal, and in the vertical water from top to bottom. So this is the vertical movement or vertical subsurface flow of the water. The next system is the floating treatment wetlands. In short, they known as FTW, floating treatment wetlands. So the floating treatment wetlands are the in situ treatment option. इन सिटू ट्रीटमेंट ऑप्शन का मतलब क्या होता है कि जहां पे प्रोडक्शन होता है वेस्ट का, वहां पे ही उसका उसी जगह पे उसका ट्रीटमेंट करना. सो मेनली सपोज करो कोई वाटर बॉडी है और वो पोल्यूटेड हो गई, तो वाटर बॉडी पोल्यूटेड, वाटर फिक्स है, तो उसी लोकेशन पे अपन प्लांट्स का और माइक्रोब्स या अदर नेचुरल प्रोसेस का यूज करके वाटर को क्लीन करने की प्रोसेस है, वो इन सिटू ट्रीटमेंट ऑप्शन होते हैं. So the floating treatment wetland is also a in situ treatment option. So these systems are mainly used for the revival of the water bodies that frequently receive the wastewater. So the structure of the floating treatment wetlands similar to the traditional wetland, except in floating treatment wetlands, the plants are grown on the free floating meads, and their roots are extended down to the contaminated water and act as a biological filter. Okay, so the most commonly floating macrophytes used for the floating treatment wetlands are the water hyacinth, the Iconia crassipus, and duckweed, that is also known as Lemna minor, for efficient contaminant removal. So this is the structure you can see. So this is the water body, okay, that receive the contaminated wastewater. This is a floating mat-like structure that always float on the surface of water. On this floating mat, we grow these macrophytes, and their root is hanging in the water, contaminated water. So these root act as a substrate or as a place for the microbial activity also. So both the root as well as the microbial activity degrade, decompose, or absorb the contaminants from the wastewater. So like they treat the water bodies in situ. So the water hyacinth reproduce itself in 5 to 15 days under favorable conditions, and the water hyacinth is a very efficient plant that grow in the severe polluted conditions. Okay, along with it also remove the fecal coliforms, suspended particles, and heavy metals from the contaminated waters. The FTW are designed to maximize the formation of a biofilms. Okay, the floating treatment wetlands are designed to maximize the formation of biofilms. It is a combination of aerobic, anaerobic, and anoxic conditions that occur beneath the plant roots, or we can say that occur in the plant roots. So aerobic means the oxygen there is oxygen present. Anaerobic condition means there is oxygen is not present, and anaerobic condition means there is oxygen present but there is no sufficient oxygen present in the plant roots. So the plant roots are help aid in the achieving the increased level of dissolved oxygen. Okay, whereas the plants and biofilm contribute to uptake of nutrients and heavy metals. That result decrease the BOD and COD of the wastewater. In India, one of the largest floating treatment wetlands has been installed in the Neknempur Lake, Hyderabad. So this lake is in the Hyderabad, situated in the Hyderabad. So in this lake, the floating treatment wetland system is installed. Now the next system is the green roof and living walls. Basically, the green roof and living wall system is used to increase the diversity and to clean the surrounding environment. They are used. So the green roof system is mainly three type. First one is the extensive green roof. Second one is the semi-intensive green roof, and third one is the intensive green roof. So here many type of plant species we are using in these systems. Okay, like grasses, shrubs, sedums, and succulent plants. Their dry weight is also variable. The depth of substrate is also variable according to their types. The system types mean they are the tray or layer type system. What is their purpose? So the purpose is they support the biodiversity and provide the environmental benefits. Okay, and for aesthetic purpose they are also used. Their maintenance is the minimal for the extensive green routes. In the case of semi-intensive, they require the occasional maintenance, and the intensive green roof are require the regular maintenance. And the initial cost is establishment is low, medium, and high. Now the next one is the living walls. These are the living wall system. You many time I think you have seen on the metro pillars or in many buildings. Okay, so basically there are two types. The first one is the continuous wall type, and the second one is the modular living wall. So these also used for the aesthetic purpose or to clean the surrounding environment. Now the waste stabilization pond. Again, this is a nature-based solution for the wastewater treatment. The waste stabilization pond, WSP, waste stabilization pond. So the waste stabilization ponds are the impoundments. Impoundments means we can say reservoir in which the wastewater flow in and out after a defined retention time. ठीक है, एक pond like structure होता है जिसमें पानी कुछ समय के लिए वहां पे रुकता है और उसके बाद में आउटफ्लो हो जाता है. So the waste stabilization pond are more suited for tropical and subtropical climate because this type climate having the sufficient sunlight and sufficient temperature for the growth and performance of the waste stabilization pond. Okay, so the treatment process rely on the natural process of biological purification systems. There is no external energy provided in this system. They only based on the sunlight and temperature based systems. So when we compare to the other technologies, the waste stabilization pond are simple, contain a complex ecological system consisting algae, bacteria, virus, fungi, protozoa, rotifers, insect, crustacean, and often chordates animals. So we can say it is a include all the water animals for the wastewater treatment. So that's why it is a complex ecological system. So the treatment optimized by selecting the appropriate organic loading, retention period, and pond depth. So these are the three factors that are responsible for the optimum activity of this system. The waste stabilization pond consists of a series of man-made earthen ponds. Okay, so there are many ponds. There are generally three ponds. Okay, so they may be anaerobic pond, facultative, and maturation pond. Okay, so their role is also different. The anaerobic pond, uh, there is anaerobic condition in the facultative condition in the second pond, and third pond is the aerobic pond. There the maturation of the wastewater or the organic things take place. A individual pond function is like a complex mixed series reactor. So एक सिंगल pond है वो एक कॉम्प्लेक्स कंप्लीट मिक्स सीरीज रिएक्टर की तरह काम करता है. So a series of ponds. So in the diagram you can see there are the series of pond. The first pond, this is the second pond, and this is the third pond. So the series of pond function as a completely mixed reactor, thereby achieving the benefit of a plug flow reactor. Okay. First one is the anaerobic pond. So this one, the first one is the anaerobic pond, where the initial treatment take place, designed to reduce the suspended solids and some soluble organic matter. So here first the wastewater come inside this pond. So here the suspended solid reduced, okay, and some soluble organic matter are also removed by in under the anaerobic condition. Under the anaerobic condition, the methanogenesis reaction take place. Okay. Then after the treated water enter into the second pond, that is the facultative pond, where the further the residual organic matter is removed by the action of the algae and heterotrophic bacteria. Again, the further the treated water enter into the third pond, that is the aerobic maturation pond. Okay. So where the pathogen and nutrients are removed in the maturation pond. In this pond, the pathogens and nutrients are removed. Likewise, the wastewater treated in the waste stabilization pond. Here you can see the first pond. This is the first pond, aerobic pond, where the initially wastewater enter from this side. The sludge is deposited at the bottom, okay, and the sewage part is enter into the second chamber, that is the facultative. From this again the remaining amount of sludge is deposited in the bottom, and that is treated by the microorganisms, and again the sewage part again enter into the third pond, that is the aerobic maturation pond. So due to the presence of oxygen, the complete decomposition of the organic matter take place. So likewise the wastewater is treated in the waste stabilization pond. Now the next system is the high rate algal pond. High rate algal pond, HRAP. Again, this is a very important system, that is the natural based solution for the wastewater treatment. So the high rate algal pond are shallow पैडल व्हील मिक्स्ड ओपन रेसवे पॉन्ड, बिकॉज इस सिस्टम में पैडल व्हील का यूज किया जाता है. सो दैट्स वाई पैडल व्हील मिक्स्ड ओपन रेसवे पॉन्ड आर यूज फॉर द वेस्ट वाटर ट्रीटमेंट यूजिंग द एल्गल स्पीशीज. So name itself indicate the high rate algal pond. So in this system we use the algal species for wastewater treatment, or we can say algal culture for the wastewater treatment. So the mixing process with the help of the paddle wheel is a very important step of this process. Okay, so the mixing is done by the paddle wheel. The purpose of mixing using the paddle wheel is done to achieve the horizontal velocity of wastewater from 0.15 to 0.3 meter per second. So this is a very important statement. The maintain the flow velocity from 0.15 to 0.3 meter per second. Okay, so that this velocity avoid the settling of the sludge in the bottom of this system, and also circulate the algal culture or mix the algal culture with the wastewater. Okay, so this system, the HRA AP performance, the performance of this system based on the symbiotic relationship of the bacteria and microalgae, because the microalgae provide the oxygen to the bacteria for the decomposition of organic matter, and the bacteria provide the food, or we can say energy, by the decomposition of the organic matter to the algae. So this is the structure. Here you can see this is the paddle wheel. The water is entered from this side, and this paddle wheel is continuously mix the water. So the sludge is not settled down at the bottom of this system, and the algal culture is continuously mixing with the wastewater. Okay, sometime in these type of system we also provide the CO2 for proper growth and development of the algae. So here you can see this is system, this is the water influent, and this is the pedal which thus is continuously mixing the waste and maintain the a fixed horizontal velocity 0.15 to 0.3 meter per second. Okay, so this velocity not allowed to settle down the sludge at the bottom, and they continuously mix the algal culture with the wastewater. And we also provide sometimes the CO2 for proper development and growth of the algal. So comparing the two technologies, the waste stabilization pond and high rate algal pond, अगर इन दो सिस्टम में कंपेयर करते हैं, so high rate algal pond system is more efficient as compared to the waste stabilization pond. So HRAP system is more efficient as compared to WSP because it treats the same amount of the wastewater in just 40% of area as compared to the वेस्ट स्टेबिलाईजेशन पॉन्ड. सो जितने भी एरिया में वेस्ट स्टेबिलाईजेशन पॉन्ड वेस्ट वाटर को ट्रीट करता है, उससे उस एरिया के 40% एरिया में हाई रेट एल्गल पॉन्ड है वो उसी वेस्ट वाटर को ट्रीटमेंट कर देता है. अगर कॉस्ट वाइज हम देखें तो दिस हाई रेट एल्गल पॉन्ड इज मोर cheaper as compared to the waste stabilization pond. Okay, and this system is more efficient as compared to the waste stabilization pond due to the more algal growth, and they remove the more nutrients and other contaminants from the wastewater. Now the next system is the vermifiltration. The name itself tells that vermi. So here we are using the worms, and here we are using the a joint process of the earthworms and microbes. In this system, we are using the earthworms and microbes for the wastewater treatment. Okay, so the vermifiltration system having the two major components. The first one is the vermi bed and second one is the earthworms. So vermi bed क्या होते हैं? वर्मी बेड वो होते हैं, सपोर्टिंग मीडिया होता है जहाँ पे अर्थवर्म अपनी एक्टिविटी करते हैं. ये सेंड ग्रेवल्स इनका बेड होता है और इनका सिस्टम होता है सपोर्टिंग सिस्टम, जिसपे अर्थवर्म्स अपनी एक्टिविटी करते हैं और ऑर्गेनिक मैटर का डिकम्पोजिशन करते हैं. सो द वर्मी बेड इज ए पोरस material, helps in the screening wastewater and trapping the solids. They provide a food source to the earthworm which help in the growth and reproduction of microbes due to the ingestion activities of earthworms. The most widely used species of earthworm for the vermifiltration is the Escherichia foetida, that is also known as tiger worm and red worm. So जो केंचुए की Escherichia foetida species का वर्मीफिल्ट्रेशन सिस्टम में mainly यूज किया जाता है. So the species known to utilize the fresh human feces with high moisture conditions and remove the hazardous pathogen efficiently. Both earthworms and microbes remove the BOD, COD, TDS, total dissolved solids, and TSS, total suspended solids, from the wastewater through the ingestion activity, biodegradation, and absorption by the body of the earthworms. The earthworm also secrete the slimy fluid that is known as mucus from their body, and which is a host of that mucus contain the several enzymes that also help in the mineralization of the organic pollutants present in the wastewater. and the movement of the earthworms make the system porous, so they improve the oxygen circulation or penetration activity in the system and create the aerobic condition for the microorganisms and prevent the formation of the odors and sludge. So the vermifiltration is a odor-free process, resulting the vermifiltered water is clean enough to be reused in the parks and gardens and for the farm irrigation. So here you can see this is a vermifiltration system. Here these are the media, okay, sand and gravel. The upper side there is these are the earthworms and the vermicompost that helps in the decomposition of the organic matter that present in the wastewater. So the whatever wastewater coming inside this system, that is used by the whatever organic matter coming with the wastewater in this system, that is used by the earthworms and microbes, and the treated water is released in the bottom, and they finally further used in the irrigation of the parks and gardens. Okay, so there are many activities done by the earthworms. So initially earthworm go for the comminution, means they degrade the large particle into the small particles, then after they go for the burrowing, then after they go for the grazing, then after they go for the digestion, casting and dispersal, and finally they form the vermicast. These are the nutrient rich manure that can be used in the application in the fields. So friends, thank you so much for watching this video. अगले वीडियो में फिर मिलते हैं, तब तक के लिए नमस्कार।